Published 10/11 Est, 13 November 2017. Updated 10/23 Est, 13 November 2017. Mark Fitt, 43, outside Kingston Crown Court, in July this year has been jailed for a £110,000 swindleA fake SAS love rat who scammed two girlfriends and a retired police chief in a £110,000 swindle. Has been jailed for 4 years. Mark Fitt, 43, from Richmond, southwest London, told his victims he needed the money to set up a counter-kidnap and ransom operation in the Middle East. However, in fact he was spending their hard-earned savings on luxurious trips to the Caribbean and business-class flights to France. Fitt, who stole £117,137 in total from his 4 victims, claimed to come from a military family and serve 6 years in the Queen's Dragoon Guards. He would regale them with tall tales of serving in the Special Forces and French Foreign Legion, but it was all part of an elaborate lie. Fitt was dating a policewoman while stealing from another girlfriend, who he convinced his company N49 Intelligence was going to make a fortune in the Middle East and Africa. He was found guilty of stealing £33,690 from business analyst Hilary Davies, 57, and £45,874 from interior designer Tracy Saunders, 45. He was also convicted of defrauding retired police chief superintendent Mark Fitt, 59, of £30,000 and stealing £1,600 from investor Oliver Tonkin, nicknamed Colonel Blimp by an ex-partner. Fitt dated Davies and Saunders simultaneously while they financed his lifestyle of drinking and holding court in the pubs of Leafy Barnes. Ms. Saunders, pictured outside court in July, said she gave Fitt £2,500 for a business trip to Nigeria, £5,000 for a trip to Somalia, and also paid his utility bills. For offences all involved taking money from people you met socially, who were told you were setting up a counter-kidnap and ransom business in the Middle East. Recorder John Kingston told Fitt, "You persuaded them to give you money to tide you over while you got the business off the ground, and you were in a relationship with the 2 women and these relationships overlapped. You exaggerated your military experience and contacts, and the business had little chance of success and you knew it. These were particularly nasty offenses, and the 2 women were susceptible to being taken in by a man who had entered into a romantic relationship with them. The vulnerability was based on the romantic attachment to you, and these offenses have had a major impact on both of them. You got them to finance your lifestyle. In the case of Tracy Saunders, it was her entire savings and you knew it." Ms. Davies, pictured outside court in July, said she met Fitt in a pub and found him charming, claiming his voice was hypnotic. Fitt claimed to be an expert in kidnapping and extortion, with large companies and insurers willing to pay £200,000, £300,000 per quarter for his skills in trouble spots such as Libya and Somalia. "I thought he was very charming, his voice was quite hypnotic, and I trusted him as a nice character," said Ms. Davies. "I was hoping it would be a relationship at one point." Ms. Saunders told the jury, "I was very worried about him, his stress levels and financial situation. I cared about him and wanted to help." While dating Ms. Saunders, Fitt was seeing policewoman Zoe Richardson and defrauded her housemate, Mr. Veljovich. One witness told the court Fitt sported a regimental tie in the pub one Remembrance Sunday and proudly displayed 9 service medals, some SAS, for service in Iraq and Afghanistan. However, Fitt denied this, explaining they were fake, they were not real. "And I had them when I dressed up as Colonel Gaddafi at a fancy dress party." Chief Superintendent Mark Fitt, pictured outside court in July, was defrauded out of £30,000 by Fitt in Ms. Davis explained. He said he was a specialist with UK Special Forces and the UK Security Services. "He was very persuasive and I felt empathy towards him. I still had funds in my limited company and felt I wanted to help him and felt that he was building up his future." Ms. Davies told the court their relationship revolved around meetings and conversations. When asked if it was a UAL relationship, she replied, "Not very actively." Within weeks, Fitt was asking her for cash to tide his business over. "He was a confident person, and gave me the impression he had money in the past. I wanted to help him and he was very charismatic, explained Ms. Davies, who also paid Fitt's rent and what she believed were flights to overseas business meetings. She funded his non-existent speaking engagement at a London expo after being impressed by his Project Phoebe business plan. The revenue forecasts ran into several millions of pounds. This was dishonest and to persuade her and other people to give money, said prosecutor Mr. Tim Starkey. She bumped into Fitt at a local cafe in March 2013. He was with another woman and wanted to blank me. I was so angry I just spluttered out, "Where's my money? I want my money back." He said I was hassling him and that I was a stalker and he was going to call the police. Witnesses mentioned 3 other women Fitt was seeing at different times during the period, and he is now engaged to another woman he runs a company with. He told Ms. Saunders, who knew him as Charlie, he had PTSD and began asking her for money after claiming the Foreign Office cancelled one of his contracts. She gave him £2,500 for a business trip to Nigeria, £5,000 for a trip to Somalia, and also paid his utility bills and financed a 3-week Thailand holiday for the couple. He also signed on for job seekers allowance and enjoyed holidays to Tenerife and Mallorca, as well as a trip to the Bahamas and business-class flights to Marseille. Throughout the trial, he insisted he only told people he was merely trained by exes and French Foreign Legion SOLRS in relation to his bodyguard work in Beirut. He produced false business plans to convince Mr. Veljovic his company would receive a lucrative retainer from insurance underwriters. He even falsely claimed his company was endorsed by the former head of the Metropolitan Police's Kidnap and Hostage Unit. He spent Mr. Veljovic's investment on a year's rent, added Mr. Starkey. Fitt introduced himself in a local pub as a colonel to the retired police officer. He said he was working on government contracts in the Middle East with other senior military leaders. He said he won a contract for kidnap response services, and I had no reason to doubt his capabilities, given his links to senior military figures, said Mr. Veljovic. Fitt claimed he never passed himself off as a high-ranking officer. "The closest was my girlfriend Zoe's nickname for me. She called me Colonel Blimp." He will now be subject to a Proceeds of Crime Act investigation after revealing he is a 16% shareholder in an internet company with his fiancée.